Welcome to Future Chronicles, a European podcast created within a 2-year Erasmus Plus project where young women and allies expose gender disinformation, unpack how it spreads, and share how we can resist it. From the margins to the center, reclaiming our narratives, rebuilding trust, and strengthening democracy.
A woman calls the police. Not once, not twice. She says she is afraid. She says she has been threatened. She asks for protection. The system responds slowly, or it responds on paper but not in reality. Weeks later, her name appears in the news. Another woman killed by a partner or a former partner. Another headline that briefly shocks, then just disappears. In Romania, cases of domestic violence and femicides rarely begin with silence. They begin with warning signs. They begin with fear that is spoken but not fully heard. We are not sharing this story to shock or to sensationalize, just like the news. We are sharing it to ask a question. What happens when women speak, but system does not listen? In today's episode, we are going to talk about gender equality, safety, and just real-life experiences. It's about why talking about violence, discrimination, and protection should never be a taboo subject. And it's about why laws, resources, and solidarity matters long before a crisis become irreversible. Insert logo sound. Și acum o să începem. Hello everyone and welcome to Future Chronicles. My name is Roya and I'm a project manager and I work in the field of gender equality and gender-based violence.
Hello everybody, my name is Alexandra. I work on human rights, gender equality and disability issues with a focus on systemic inclusion.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be together with you here. We are both coming from Varietate Concordia, which is an NGO based in Bucharest, and today we are joined by 2 young women who participated in Future Chronicles workshop in Valencia. We invited them not as representatives, but as voices, reflecting on their own experiences, real-life experience and education, work, relationships, and the society that we all live in. This episode will touch on domestic violence, femicide in an educational, non-graphic way, and our goal is not fear, but understanding, awareness, and prevention. So, welcome, Grazia and Bia.
Hello there, my name is Grazia and I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bianca. I'm also happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. So I know that today's topic is going to be a very difficult topic for us as women, especially because all for us are women here, and I'm very happy that we got in a project that involves just our protection and to further study, to speak up about the issues that we have in our everyday lives. So I want to kick off the discussion a bit with the gender inequality in families, because I feel like, that's pretty much where everything is starting when we are little. And then with school and education, which is perpetuating everything that we are experiencing when we are little. So let's see a bit, how did you feel growing up? Did you notice different expectations from you because you were a girl, or did you feel like, they put pressure on you just because you are a girl?
Well, I can say that for me, it was a lucky situation when I was little, because I was raised in a family where the woman had more power than the man, and the father would only help financially. But still, I remember that I had some kind of pressure that I didn't understand why I had to do it. For example, I always used to be pressured to have a good aspect, well dressed, to be thin, to
always
be
a thin,
to always have my hair brushed. So generally speaking, I should every time look good when I go out in public.
Just to not make the family feel ashamed, because what if you go out with your clothes not looking perfect? What are the neighbors going to say about you,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think we all heard that.
I remember I will share something personal about being thin. I was always told as a little girl that I will not marry because I'm not so thin. And not thin girls don't have the opportunity to marry because you have to look
in a
thin.
certain way,
Yes,
yeah,
of
especially
course.
thin. It's one of the things that we get told very often when we are little, and we get into that idea of dieting and diet culture very easily. So I totally relate to that, and I think many of our listeners are gonna relate to that a lot.
Yes, because you become inferior, you become a B citizen, not being having the proper shapes for the society. But let's move on with childhood.
It's really bad, like the fact that it seems like you have to change things about yourself in order to be loved. You said
Yeah.
about
Yes,
getting married, you know.
yes.
Yeah, I hate that pressure that is being put on little girls, because it's starting exactly when you are so little and your personality is just developing, so you don't even know who to listen to, because your mom is saying something, the society tells you something else, and then you are confused. So I think the family has a very important role in all of this. Do you have siblings that you felt compared to, or did you feel like they were being treated differently than you?
In my situation, yes, I have a brother and a sister that are older than me, but they were the age gap between me and them was pretty big. So basically, I was raised alone, and they were already left the home. So in this particular case, I wasn't aware of any kind of different treatment.
Okay. What about you, Bia?
Um, I I have a brother, and the age gap is also pretty big. But I don't know. Some things were different, some things weren't. For example, my mom didn't really believe that cleaning is for women. The cleaning duties were shared between us.
Okay.
But in terms of, I don't know, well behaving, I mean, I was. I don't know if the pressure was like direct, but I felt like I had to be because I was a girl, I had to be more well behaved, more quiet, maybe not to draw too much attention to myself. And I felt like they were actually encouraging him to speak up and to make his presence known in any
Yeah,
room.
because he's a man. Yeah, he has to be leader. He has to speak up. Yeah.
It's kind of strange.
It is strange, I agree, yes. It's very sad because I experienced exactly the same kind of values. I wasn't compared to anyone in the family, which was lucky for me, but I was always compared to my colleagues in class. My parents were always like, "You saw that guy in your class, he's so good at football. What are you doing? Why you are not good at sport?" And I was like, well, maybe because I don't like it. And again, with the technical classes, I was never very good at like mathematics, physics, and stuff like that. I was always more inclined to like English, literature, history, anything else but mathematics. And it was always that idea that you will never succeed in life if you are not becoming a doctor or an engineer or something like that. And because I was never into the technical field, there was always this pressure on me.
And actually, like a parenthesis here, actually, you know that in Romanian there is no feminine word for doctor, engineer, which tells something.
Yeah, the Romanian language is very misogynistic,
Yes.
unfortunately.
It's
Yeah.
the cleaning lady.
Yeah, the
Yes,
cleaning
the
lady.
cleaning lady
That's
that
job for
cannot
us.
be. Yes,
Yeah.
cannot be a guy.
Exactly.
Or the nurses.
Oh yeah.
You know, because
The doctor is a
care,
man.
the doctor is a man and the nurses
The
are
nurturing
women.
side.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly, because they are the ones who have to take care of the others.
Yes.
So moving on to your school and university days, because you are still very young and your memories are still very fresh. During school or university, did you ever feel treated differently because you are a woman or a girl? Did you feel like the professors were being different to you, acting differently?
So I remember when I was in middle school, I was very focused on transferring and adapting from the countryside to the city school. So in terms of treating differently boys and girls or feel differently treated because I was a girl, I don't recall, or I wasn't aware of that. I used to have my insecurities due to the fact that I was from the countryside, but not really about my gender. So I could not recall exactly a situation that happened to me.
That's still very important, because why would we treat people differently because they're coming from a smaller city or from the rural area? I always felt like that's very, very weird to me. Like, I never really put the difference between my colleagues that were from Bucharest and the ones that were not. To me, they were all just my colleagues. So yeah.
Yes, it doesn't make sense, and it still doesn't make sense to me right now, because at the end of the day I was the same as them. I was just coming from another place, but yet things happened and affected me throughout my life.
I'm very sorry to hear that. I totally get how you feel, because all my colleagues that were not from Bucharest felt the same way as you. So indeed, especially the girls were feeling like that because they didn't look like the girls from the city, and they were not dressing as fashion as the girls that were already from here. And I think it's more an issue of the financial background as well, because sometimes these mean groups of people are the ones that have the money and the power to be looking in a certain way and act in a certain way. So it's just I would say a discrimination that they do based on the financial situation.
Yes, actually, talking about this, I remember that I have a different experience, a good experience in school. I went to high school in a different country, and the teachers there didn't treat me different at all. I was angry because I had smaller grades, because I tried to fit in sometimes, but actually in the end I think it was very good. They didn't treat me, discriminated me positively to fit in. I had to struggle to do my work to fit in that country and that school, and in the end I think it was a good way for me. So I think it's a good experience. Talking about discrimination also on the positive side, not to exaggerate with it.
Okay, I understand.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a dual.
Yes, because you know, when you treat people like, when you
Yeah.
treat women like vulnerable person, it's like you look at them from a superior point of view, and you need to take care of them being vulnerable, and that's
it's
not the
always
point.
this idea that girls are little and small, and you need to take care of
Fragile.
them. They don't have the power to do anything. They are weak, and they are, they can't really do anything for themselves. They can be independent. They always need the support of a man, of course. Never another woman. It's not like our mothers raised us, but yeah. And I think I want to sum up a bit this topic, because I have a lot of other questions that I want to go through with you. But how did these experiences from family, school, university messed with you? Like, did you feel like any of the experiences that you had dimmed your confidence or made you feel bad about yourselves?
For me, especially, I'd say that it made me grow some insecurities, and it's not really easy to go through a lot of different domains of my life, I guess. But yeah. How about you, Grazia?
Well, in terms of what affected me, so I can say that my mental health kind of got affected throughout this whole process of changing and being maybe an outcast in some kind of ways, also being a woman. So it somehow made me stronger in a way or another, but still I had been going with some insecurities. For example, my self-image, how do I look in public? So everything, it comes from, I think, some kind of childhood trauma, and I'm still struggling with it. But now, when you're an adult and you have more awareness, you can realize that things are not that bad, and we can create a community where we can be safe with each other.
That's what we are trying to do, yes.
But you were saying that you are an adult now. At what age do you think you first noticed that there are some differences between you as a woman, as a girl, as an adolescent, and the boys, the men? When did you first notice these differences, or the behavior which is different, maybe the discrimination?
Well, I remember that it happened somehow in high school when I was in the ninth grade. Until then, I wasn't that aware of the differences between genders. It was just about studying or being part of a group. But when I started high school and I was in a high school that had high standards, and the pupils from there were pretty rich, the girls were starting dressing like with rich clothes, not rich clothes.
Like brand clothes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because the brand was so important in high school.
Yeah, and kind of feminine. And I remember that me coming from the countryside, I used to dress more like in sweaters or
a bit of
sweatpants.
tomboy.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt like I'm not really belong to them, and I never had the opportunity to had a real conversation with the very girly girls, I would say.
Yeah.
So basically, when I was in high school, I realized that there are big differences between genders, and how insecurities started to follow me in this way.
Did the boys treat differently the girls that were girly and the girls that were not so girly?
Yes, I remember that even the way they would say hi to me, if I was more tomboyish, they would come and shake my hand or something, which is specifically a man thing, I would say, from high school. And sometimes if we were too girly, the boys wouldn't say hi to you or something. They would just say hi and do not
You're
shake
invisible.
hands. Yeah, basically, yeah. And this still happens nowadays in some kind of social situations.
Yes. You know, my mother always told me, when you go to the doctor, when you go out from the home, you have always to dress up, because if something bad happens to you, the police or the ambulance won't save you, because you are poorly, if you look like a beggar and you are not cleaned up.
That's very sad.
Yes, it's it's something from like a traditional
way of thinking.
Yes. Yeah. What about you, Bia? Do you remember
when you started noticing
seeing the differences, because you were a woman, girl, you were treated differently?
Yeah, actually, I felt this difference earlier in middle school. The first moment I remember that was like that showed me that was the fact that there was one teacher that was treating girls differently than boys. He didn't really like boys. I mean, he was talking in a bad manner to them, and he would always stay and talk with the girls, and he wouldn't really teach us anything. He would just stay and gossip with the girls about their boyfriends and everything. It was really, really bad. And
in middle school.
Yeah, actually, and I had this the same experience as Grazia. I mean, the boys were treating me differently. Were treating girls differently based on how they look, on how they perceive them. But the thing that shocked me the most was that it came from an adult.
The professor.
Yeah.
Someone that is supposed to take care of you and teach you and make you feel safe made you not feel that way.
Yeah.
That's a bit, it's strange, and unfortunately it happens at any level of education, I will say. So we had a lot of cases in the universities in Romania where the professors were being indecent with students, girl students. And we've seen how difficult it is to get them to be punished by the law and to make the victims come forward and speak up because they're afraid. because it's a power difference, you know, when you have the professor and you are the student. It's just kind of difficult to come up and speak up because you don't want to fail the class, you don't want to fail the university, you don't want to not be able to finish up your studies.
And
so yeah,
that professor is he's still an authority for you. You are young adult that is still in process of being an adult, so it still shapes. And you know, this reminds me of also the fact that too many times I read about this, that girls are being taught to be pretty with male professors to have to get higher grades, to get
this comes also from the family, because they will always tell you to treat men better in order to get treated fairly. So it's just the idea that is being implemented in our brains since we are little children, and they always make sure to make you feel like you need to do that just with men. Don't do that for women, because they are not going to treat you well either way, because they are jealous of you. So they make that competition between women and girls, and they make you compete with the wrong part of your life. You don't have to compete with other girls. You don't have to feel like that.
And fun fact, you know that we will get to this also, but women tend to live longer than men, like 10, 20 years longer. So in the end, they will be widows without men, and they will have, at the end of their life, they will have to make friends with the other women.
Yeah, exactly.
At 80 years old, there will only be only women, so they will need to.
That's actually pretty shocking to me that women live longer, because I feel like it's more stressful with life. So yeah.
I agree. I agree. We are being more stressed by both the life that we have to take care of, because we are expected to take care of our elderly parents, and then to take care of the family, and then to take care of the children that we may don't want to have, but we are somehow forced by the society to believe that that's the women dream. That's what you are supposed to be doing with your life, to just have children, take care of them, grow the family, and that's it. That's your whole purpose in life, and that upsets me.
Yes, but moving forward, moving forward from school to adulthood, let's talk a little bit about gender inequality in work environments, big professional spaces. Yes, because gender inequality doesn't stop after university, high school, after when education ends, but it continues in another form. So let's think a little bit about your, work or you are young adults, so internship, volunteering situations when maybe if you felt the pressure to behave, to speak, to in a certain way to be taken seriously. If you felt that you needed to demonstrate more than men
to prove yourself.
To prove yourself,
So in my situations, I have some experience with maybe volunteering and internships, and I didn't have any kind of this kind of I didn't see any problems in this situation. In work, because I used to work in a corporation, the spread of power was equally in males and females. So in this case, this is a happy case. I can say that also women were included, as it should be, in big leadership roles.
That's very nice.
But still, I can recall that as a women in leadership roles in work, they will always have to be very, very presentable, rather than the men that usually would only put sweater and
Yeah.
some kind of pants on, and that's it. And the women had to
Dress up.
curl their hair, dress up,
Yeah.
put a lot of makeup on, look very, very presentable. This happened to me that when I went to an interview in that corporation, it was taken from a woman and a man, and I was dressed like pretty normally with a shirt and some pants, but the woman was dressed very girly, and for some reason I felt pressured because I thought I wouldn't get the job, the interview good because I was dressed like a man in their opinion.
Yeah.
God bless it didn't happen, but I still felt that kind of pressure. Probably it happened because I had this kind of experience in high school and school. So yeah.
That's actually very sad because it shouldn't matter what you're dressed as when you have an interview. It should matter only your skills and your abilities. And they put that woman there being dressed so nicely and so, I would say, casual corporate style. And then next to her, a man that was not even looking like he was coming to a job at a corporation. So I feel like the discrepancy was so big and it made you feel so uncomfortable. They didn't even think of that. They just thought of like, oh, I'm going to present this woman to her and this is what I would believe in my business a woman should look like, and to put pressure without any reason on you. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I tend to not have the need to prove competence more than my male colleagues because I know my experiences, I know how valuable I am, but still sometimes it happens that this kind of insecurities coming from the outside are pressuring me and not think what is my true potential. So yeah, it's kind of bad in some situations.
But did it happen that you maybe felt the need to speak up and you didn't because you were not feeling secure as a woman to speak up in a work environment, like saying something that bothered you but you didn't because women have to behave, to be gentle and good, not to shout out.
Well, maybe this is a very common situation. I don't know exactly, but in my case, I never felt this kind of pressure because, as I said before, I was raised in a family that the woman had more power and she would always speak up, and the male was just the help, I would say. And in this case, I never had this kind of fear of speaking up, or I always felt like I will talk. It doesn't matter if I'm a woman or a man, but I know that there are some situations that things are different and there are worse than my scenario, I suppose.
So yes, did it happen to you girls to see a woman that needed to speak up and she didn't, and you felt the urge to go to her and
Push her and give her
the support
Yeah.
she needed to speak up?
Yeah.
That eagerness to support another woman to
Yeah,
speak up.
actually, yeah. A lot of times, but I also I would talk to the person afterwards, and I really understood her because I also sometimes feel like I can't speak up because I'm afraid that I'll be labeled as the frustrated woman with too many emotions and why do you talk so much? I don't know. So maybe if the environment is not that safe, it's better. It's not better not to speak up, but
It's
I get the
safer.
fear.
Yeah.
I get the fear, and I'm trying to be the support for her, to talk to her, and maybe help her um, get rid of this problem in another way if she doesn't feel safe to speak up.
Totally understandable, and in some situations it's better safe than sorry. So I think protecting her is the best in any situation, and protecting yourselves as well.
Yeah, you said labeled as emotional, and I think this is also a good point to talk about. Women are often associated to many emotions, and they are labeled that like not reliable because they are too emotional. And this is something which is maybe discriminating. Did you feel this on your own uh, in your life, being discriminated like for being too emotional or not being hurt because you are exaggerating, you are
You are on your
being
period.
you are too dramatic, you are no, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
To be silenced, like because you are too emotional and not being heard. Even you, maybe you were louder being emotional, but not being ignored.
I think it happened to all of us in a way or another, and this is concerning, I would say. For me personally, I always try my best to speak up and don't be uh, afraid of judgment that people would say that I'm too emotional. I want to believe that my emotions and the fact that I speak up and I explain everything and I talk a lot and I'm very expressive, it's a good thing. So if anybody comes to me and says that it's not good, I will try to explain. I always try to stand my point because I want to inspire with the little things I know and the small things I'm sure about, that it is okay to be in any way just explain your point of view. And some people tend to be more emotional, some people tend to be more
Closed, yeah.
yeah, closed, exactly. And it shouldn't be about the gender, it's just about the personality. So yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
I also feel like women have some specific emotions that they are allowed to feel, and men have another emotions like rage, not rage.
Yeah, but rage as
feel
well.
bad.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they are entitled to feeling rage.
Yeah, but they're not entitled to feel sadness, and we are. So it's really the separation. There's a bar between us, I guess.
Yeah, the gap comes up when your feelings are inferior to those of a man. So being furious, being having rage, it's something good, powerful. But being, sad, it's weak.
Diminishes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also there is another issue with the emotions that women get, because when you are a man and you are strong and powerful and in rage and you have that very, I would say, aggressive way of talking, it's seen as a leadership quality. But when a woman is like that, it's perceived as being crazy, as being a woman with mental issues, and why is she acting like that? She's too emotional, she's too crazy, and then they are using that against us. But when it's a man, it's a good feeling to be like that, because like he's powerful, he's being a leader. That's how a leader is supposed to be. You are not supposed to be weak, you are not supposed to be emotional to be a leader. But I think women along the history that were in leadership positions showed us that it's much more powerful to be emotional and to also control your emotions very well when you are in a leadership position, rather than being aggressive and smashing things and being like perpetuating this kind of aggressiveness in your power.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Emotion can bring so much difference in every type of discourse. It can be revelating.
Yeah.
So it's not all about rage and expressing power in a very harsh way. So it's very important to show your emotions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, rage is not an emotion that you should like express in a aggressive way, because that means that you don't have the required abilities to regulate your emotions.
Yeah.
So that's not really leadership for me. Like
that's not a skill that you should brag about, for sure. Like, oh no, I can control my emotions. Sorry for smashing your TV. My favorite sports team lost the match.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a very sensitive topic with the emotions, because we are being taught from very young ages how to actually feel, and we are not being left on our own to discover feelings and how to work with them. So I think we can talk a bit about relationships. It's a very important topic for me because coming from a family where control and abuse was the normality of the day, and my mom was going through the most outrageous things I could have seen as a child. Have you ever felt like the controlling behavior, the possessiveness, the jealousy is presented as love and as protection rather than something negative?
Yes, I think it happened to me from a very young age. I can't recall exactly if it happened in elementary school or middle school, but when I was in a high school, I had a boyfriend that used to tell me that I'm not allowed to go out with my friends, only 2 times per month,
Oh my
not
God.
to dye my hair, not to put makeup, because he wants to keep only for himself, because he loves me a lot. And this would affect me. I remember that I finally had the power to break up with him when he told me that I'm not allowed to go to a poetry contest. And in that point I said that this is too much. But yeah, this could happen to any kind of teenager, and as a teenager having this kind of experience, so at such a young age, it can uh, form some kind of traumas and wrong coping mechanism in the future, and affects the way you see relationships. So it is kind of concerning.
Unfortunately, it happens, I believe, at every age. It's more common, I would say, for teenagers for sure to experience that because they don't know better. That's especially if you're coming from a family where you didn't see the pattern of love, you didn't see the respect between your parents, and growing up with that, you feel like love is whatever comes your way. It's like, yeah, if it's abuse, it's still some sort of love. But what do you think is like a red flag that we could look out for whenever we are in a relationship? Like, what can I, as a woman, make to prevent going into a relationship with a narcissist or with an abuser? How can I recognize the patterns?
Actually, there are a lot of things that we should look at. Maybe the way they talk about the women in their lives, about if they have female friends or not. Um, yeah, this particular thing that they wouldn't let you have male friends, or I don't know, they would be jealous of them, and yeah, the controlling behavior we're talking about, like the jealousy. I actually have a really bad feeling whenever I see a tiny bit of jealousy, because I think that it's gonna explode at some point. So yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with Pia. It's pretty hard to distinguish that very powerful love that you have at the first stage of the relationship, and put aside from the red flags that he has. But still, we as women, I think we have to be as aware as we can and try to understand the red flags and separate them from that passionate love we have for them, because if we are blinded by what they want us to show, we arrive at some point that it's too late to get out from the relationship without being hurt or being traumatized.
Yeah, the longer you stay, the harder it is.
Yes, but what if you are being hurt and traumatized? How can other women support vulnerable, traumatized women without judging, for example, blaming them? Because, it's very hard to avoid being hurt or traumatized in life. You will come to this at one point or more than one point, being hurt by people, by situations, anyway. So, what can we do as women to support each other in a very healthy way, without blaming, judging, because often happens to, blame. Oh, she was raped. Of course, she had a very
Tiny skirt.
yes,
Yeah.
or
It's
okay,
easy to judge, for sure.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, or you were stupid staying with that guy for 1 year while he was being abusive with you. You were stupid. You know, it's like. We were kidding. It's like when you were a little, you were a child, and you felt you hurt yourself by playing, doing something,
Yes.
and your parents beat with you because you hurt yourself. So you are being re-traumatized because you are not paying attention,
Yeah.
and
It was your fault.
it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
your fault that you felt or this. So it's something similar now. It is your fault that you are being wearing an inappropriate skirt or too much makeup or being
So yeah, how can we
Yes.
support them without judging them? Because we are being totally misogynistic as well.
Yes.
Yeah, if I would, I would choose to say three adjectives how to be in this kind of situation. So, compassionate, straightforward, and considerate. I would say it's very important to go straight to the point, say what is the problem, but the method how you say it is to consider the other person's feelings, so you don't hurt them. So it's basically a combination within
The friendship, like when you're talking to that person.
yeah. It's being realistic but also compassionate, I would say.
So that's something that you would like to be told as well if something like that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Pia? How would you actually support your friend if she will go through something like that?
I feel like we should be very understanding and listen a lot. Like listen to them, let them express their feelings, because usually when you're in a bad relationship, you don't really get to express your feelings, and they're bottling up, and you feel that pressure inside your head. And also, what Grazia said is pretty important, I guess, being straightforward sometimes, and even if, I mean, it's very hard to see it when you're in the relationship to see the problems. So maybe if someone important to you makes it more clear for you, maybe at one point you will start seeing that. And also to tell them that whenever they're ready to leave that situation, you'll be there. I mean, you're not going anywhere, even if they still can't get out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I really believe in the power of empowering and growing relationships. You said something amazing. Being there, listening. Maybe sometimes you don't have to act, do something, but just being there to listen and contain all that comes from the other person that needs to open and share. And I think this is empowering,
For sure.
empowering women, because so many times we were not being listened to, so we need to be listened. But moving to a more practical part of this discussion, sometimes listening and being there for one another and doing all this human work, it's not enough, and we need to talk about systems and legal laws and protection and the entire system and how it works. So the points we want to cover are about the in Romania, what is guaranteed by the law, and what do you think it's missing, and what do you think it's a good practice in Romania? Because I think we also have good things that are happening in these years. So, What about?
Like from a legislation point of view, do you feel like Romania is protecting their women? Do you feel like we have laws that are protecting us from abusers or relationships that are being abusive?
I can say that things are finally moving forward, but it wasn't that good because we had so many femicides. And right now, I know that they are adopting this law that they want to put the femicide as a
Distinct.
distinct crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be finally charged for it. Yeah.
Yes, which is very good. I saw that this is starting to being adopted in different countries in Europe. So it's a very good trend that is happening. Also, I remember specifically a situation that happened to my neighbors. I have a neighbor that I have two neighbors. They are a couple, and they were fighting very hard. And I heard at some point that she was saying, "Stop hitting me." And in that point, I called the police because I was very scared for her. And the police came in, so it was 2 in the morning. It was late, and the police came very prepared in, I think, 8 minutes or something.
Oh, that's very good.
Which was very good, actually. I didn't expect to move them as fast, so at least I had this kind of good experience to see that the police is working towards making some good moves.
Yes, I also think that these last couple of years, because unfortunately there were too many femicides, and there was a lot of talk about this and about the domestic violence against women, but on the other side, the protection order now it's in place, the electric bracelet, also on the low side of things, things are going in a fast pace, because the system needs to adapt to these things. So we are not still there stopping femicides, but I think it's a good thing that we are being more prepared, like the law enforcement also is being prepared how to deal, not judge, not blame the victim, how to deal in a proper way, and answer to, you were saying that the police came prepared and answer to your call, and this is important because they are prompt in answering, not all the times, but
and because we don't want to talk about only the positive sides of it, my experience was pretty bad with the police and their way of reacting to things. When I called the police for me and my mom, because my dad was being abusive and violent, they came super late, like it took them about 45 minutes, and that when I said that he's threatening my mom to kill her, so that was supposed to be a code red, and they were supposed to come very fast, but they didn't. And when they arrived, they said, "Oh, there is nothing broken in here, what are you calling us for? Like he seems like he just had a few drinks, but he doesn't seem like to be abusive." And I think in that moment I felt something broke inside of me, because I was like, oh, so no one is going to protect me if I don't do something. And I told them very bluntly, like, okay, next time I'm going to kill him, just in order to protect me and my mom. And they said, you can be fined for that. I can arrest you right now for that. And I was like, so you are arresting me for saying something that never happened? And if you look at me, I am half the size of that man. So how will that happen in your brain? Like, how is that possible? And I felt so scared in that moment, because he was laughing, like my father was laughing, and he was like, I told you nothing was going to happen to me. And I didn't even know how to react. I was so overwhelmed that I remember I was in high school, so I was little, I didn't know any better, I was just confused and lost, and the police was my only resource, like I didn't know where to go. And then I discovered NGOs that are taking care of women going through that situation, and I reached out to one of them, which is Asociația Nais, and they are amazing. They are doing a very difficult work, and that is the part of legal protection for the victims. And I reached out to them and I was like, my mom needs a lawyer. I don't have money, I can help her, but she needs a lawyer. She went to the hospital, she got herself a document from there saying like, hey, I've been hurt. She got the certificate from the medical institution. And then finally the lawyer helped her get a protection order, but that took so much time, and he was not taken out of the house. So he was still living there, he was still abusing us emotionally, just not physically. So I think, yeah, unfortunately there are good sides and bad sides of that, but I'm very happy that right now it's moving forward.
Yes, but you mentioned we came to a hot point, Roya. You were talking about the intervention of the police. Let's speak a little bit of about the importance of early reporting. We don't need. You were saying the police needed to see broken things, people that were killed,
Exactly.
abused. Yes, we need. The society needs to teach itself prevention, to alert, to see the signals and alert, notice, report things when are just starting to happen. We need to see abuse, violence in all its ways. Abuse, violence is not only the physical one, it's the psychological one, and it's calling your partner a stupid and inferior person just because she's a woman.
So many types of abuse we have.
Yes, it's criticizing all the time, harassing, maybe at work you have a co-worker that has always sexual remarks about you. It's a lot of things.
It's the small things that add up.
Yes,
yeah.
And that's abuse, and we need to call it as an abuse and to report it as an abuse. Hey, I will not tolerate. And we need to teach ourselves and the society and the system and the law enforcement and to say, I won't tolerate this. This is an abuse, and I see it as an abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is something that I think we are still struggling. Maybe we reached some good points in prevention and protection orders, but we are not used to report early.
Yeah, unfortunately, prevention is not very present in the Romanian society. I feel like we can work a lot on that, especially because the police itself, which is the first responder to this kind of situations, they kind of have the tendency to label as a prank or a familial dispute that needs to be solved inside the family. So they don't really have the capacity to understand how to solve this kind of situation, which is very sad.
Actually, I feel like officers and people from the the organizations that should protect us should have some kind of training in dealing with people, with women from, I don't know, that have gone through domestic violence or anything. And also, I feel like sometimes the early reports are impossible because we are afraid to speak up because of all the victim blaming.
Yeah.
And as you said, the secondary victimization you went through with the police officers. I mean, I came to you for help. I want to be helped. I need to be helped, and you become the second aggressor.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt. I felt like he was being my next abuser. Like, I called you because I was desperate and I didn't know what to do, and you come here and you tell me like, he's your father, how can you do that to him? Like, you want to see him in prison? And I was like, yes. And he was like, yeah, you are a terrible daughter for saying that. And I was like, oh shit, okay, maybe I am.
I'm
like,
so sorry.
Yeah,
they're incompetent.
Very bad.
Yeah, it's because they don't have the empathy, they don't have the training and capabilities to understand when a situation is difficult before something really bad happens. Like, I don't need to be killed in order for you to help me. You should be able to help prevent a murder. That's why we have so many femicides. That's why Romania is so high in statistics, because, as I said in the beginning, the women are calling. The women are not silent. They are asking for help, and yet we see the police ignoring and labeling them as being crazy and not having this kind of super serious situation.
Exaggerating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they
because
tell
we
you.
are not used to, the early signs. We are not used to call it, speak up, and see an abuse a small thing. It's an
exactly.
abuse. If someone gives me a sexual remark in the supermarket, an unknown male, this is an abuse.
Yes.
I didn't call for it.
It's harassment, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're taught to feel like it's normality.
Yes.
Exactly.
Normalize something that is an abuse. This is something we are still struggling and fighting for.
Did you ever see, like, in real life, in your experiences, victim blaming? Have you ever experienced that, or have you seen other women getting victim blamed?
Yes, sadly, it happened a lot of times. Victim blaming is so easy to apply and do not own the responsibility that you did a mistake, and especially men against women, because they consider that we are fragile, and it is very easy for them to manipulate us and to basically control and
it's okay. It's a topic that is very sensitive for all of us. Yeah, they feel the need to make us feel little. They make us feel small and like
and
our
gaslight us.
yeah. Oh
this
yeah,
was
the
the
gaslight.
word.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I really. I love this word, but I am not.
It's a love-hate relationship,
yes,
because it's happening a lot, especially
Yeah.
from our partners, which are not supposed to be the ones doing that.
Yeah, exactly. It is a very bad situation that is happening to many of us, and we have to prevent it in a way or another, because it can mark you very deep in time, and
You lose trust, of course.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you can trust another partner after something like that happens. But what about the social media? I feel like that's the strongest and most insane place I've ever seen social media, where people are blaming women for literally everything. Like, even if a man is cheating on her and it's leaving the 3 children that they have and going with the mistress, it's still somehow the wife that's the person that did something wrong. Like, how do you feel in regards of that? Because I feel like nothing is changing in that internalized misogyny that we have, and also in the way that they're treating us.
I feel like men are allowed to do mistakes.
Yeah.
They're allowed to do wrong things, but women should, like, for example, when a child comes in the picture, if the man leaves, it's like, he's a man. I mean, men sometimes do that. So he went after the milk.
Exactly.
But if a woman were to like abandon the kid, it would be a monstrosity. Should be labeled as the worst.
Because she's the mother.
Even if she's a children, even if she's I don't know, underage, and also I feel like the victim blame, it makes you even blame yourself at one point. So that makes it even harder to express yourself in times of.
Yeah, what Bia says, it's very true, and I see it often promoted on social media. Basically, this is why sometimes I just wish I would disinstall everything.
Yeah.
Because it is crazy what is going on. But gladly, I'm happy to see that there are different kind of people and groups of people that are taking some responsibility in spreading awareness about this, because we need that. We surely need something like this.
That's why advocacy is important.
Yes, yes, and since our larger theme was silence versus speaking up, I was thinking also about the fact that there are too many women spreading hate on social media because there is still this pattern, like male pattern of competition between women, and they adopt this men pattern to protect themselves, like, you know,
Yeah, it's a form
spreading
of
hate.
protection. Yeah.
It's a sort of competition, this violence, verbal violence, and
Internalized misogyny that we
yes,
can see.
it's
Yeah.
internalized. Yes, and I really hope that we will have many more women and also men that are our allies to speak up, to have the courage to speak up and say, hey, I won't tolerate this.
Yeah, it's true. So because I feel like we ended up the discussion very in a positive note, I would say, because we can look at the bright side as well, and I'm happy that we can do that. I think if we would have to talk with our grandmas or great grandmas, they wouldn't see the potential in everything being positive because their lives was their lives were being taken away from them at a very young age, and I'm very happy that we now have the choice to not do that. We have the choice to study, we have the choice to have a job, to be finally free to choose for ourselves. So I want us to look forward. I want us to be positive about our future. And there is just one thing I want each of you to tell me. What is one thing that young women should always remember about their worth? Like, what is one advice you would give to your younger selves as women?
This is a tough question, but I would say to small Grazia, please don't lose hope, because hope is what keeps you going. And don't forget about how strong and how powerful you can be, and how loving are your friends and family that will help you go through the bad things that will happen in the future. So yeah, be strong, and don't feel afraid to speak up in any kind of situation.
For sure.
Um, Probably the fact that I would probably tell myself that um, if I'm so good at tolerating the differences of, tolerating people and loving people unconditionally the way they are, I should also look at myself and not see myself as something so strange, or I don't know. And maybe kind of depend on others, but not too much. Like, it's okay to, and it's needed to have relationships, but also not to let myself get too caught up in something and have just one person that I can depend on.
Mm-hmm.
Also try to stay in contact with friends, with family, with
So
it's
healthy
really important.
dependency.
Yeah, exactly.
I think both Grazia and Bia, little versions of you, are going to be very proud of the women that you are today. Because look at you promoting what's good and fighting for the rights of other women. What about you, Alexandra? What would you say to your little version?
To my little Alexandra, I would tell to speak up and not tolerate anything that makes her feel bad. So to start speaking up at an early age.
I think it's very important
Yes.
to speak up.
Yes, and say what are your limits. Hey, this makes me feel bad.
Boundaries are
Yes.
important.
Yes.
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 Well, you
Yes.
are very well pointed. But what about you, Roya?
I think young Roya will be very proud of the Roya that I am today, because when I was little, I was very afraid of everything. I was crying a lot. I was being abused. I didn't see the bright of the life. I always wanted to not be here anymore. So I think the fact that I'm still here, it's something I would say to Roya, that I am very proud of her for still sticking around. Um, And I'm proud of the path that she took, because I think I was confused for a very long time. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and then I found out that I just want other women to never go through what I did or my mom did. So my purpose, I think, is protecting other girls and women and small children as well, because I feel like they are the most sensitive, and they are vulnerable. Yes, exactly. So I think my advice to any young girl that is gonna listen to us is to be brave, to stick around, and to do what she can do for her own self first, and then for the others to help them. Yeah, that's that's what I will tell younger and young girls as well. Like, this is something I believe any young woman should be able to see. They're worth it, they're lovable, and they can do great things, because we bring the life and we take care of it. So
Yeah,
Totally agree.
and
Thank
we
you.
can grow and empower each other.
Exactly.
Paying more attention to one another if needs.
Thank you very much, girls. Thank you very much, Alexandra, for this wonderful discussion. It made me emotional, it made me happy, and it made me sad. So it's a bunch of emotions that I felt. I want everyone to understand that this episode was not about us being in fear. It was about awareness, responsibility, and care for another. Gender equality is not only written in laws, it is shaped in our everyday life through education, attitudes, and courage to speak openly. I want you all to remember that when sensitive topics remain taboo, violence becomes invisible, and we also lose what's more important, which means protecting the victims. No woman should feel that silence is safer than truth, and no society can tell itself democratic while women's voices are ignored. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast on Future Chronicles.
You've been listening to the Future Chronicles podcast, an Erasmus Plus project with Synergy Italy, Resistant Dreams Sweden, Jova Solida Spain, and Europejski Dialog Slovakia. Journalists for Human Rights, North Macedonia and IVC Romania working together for gender justice across Europe. Future Chronicles challenges gender disinformation and supports young people in resisting it through education, storytelling, and civic engagement. Future Chronicles is co-founded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union. The views and opinions expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect those of the European Union or the European Education and Culture Executive Agency. Neither the European Union or EACEA can be held responsible for them. If this episode resonated with you, share it. If you'd like to connect or learn more about the project, please visit future-chronicles.eu or search for us on social media. Thanks for listening.